Wake on, get up. Time for a Week 2 wide receiver watch with our resident wide receiver, Andrew Hawkins. Hawk, let's start with the Steelers. Taking on the Seahawks. Revenge game, DK Metcalf. Aaron had his last week. Now DK has his. Does he go scorched earth on his former team?
Man, I hope so, because I do love a good revenge game. It does something to me. But I think it's going to be tough if Aaron Rodgers doesn't get rid of that timidness he has in the pocket. He was too worried about the rush, which releases his ability to get downfield for DK Metcalf. And DK did great on some after the catch runs, but he's a down the field guy. And you got to sit in the pocket. You got to be confident to deliver to get the most out of DK.
We're going to talk more about their offense a little later in the show. In the meantime, another receiver. Justin Jefferson didn't go off Week 1.
No.
What's he going to do against Atlanta?
He's not going to go off in Week 2, unfortunately. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in football, but J.J. McCarthy is still growing. And he looked great in the fourth quarter, but it's still going to take time before he fully gets the full power and get the most out of J.J. Jefferson.
And then finally, we've got George Pickens, who in Week 1 didn't get much done against Philadelphia. We kept talking about how he's going to go up against the other corner, and we didn't see it. What's he going to do against the Giants?
I don't want to go 0-3 here, so I'm going to say George Pickens is going to go off, and he needs to. He needs to be more disciplined. He needs to be an outlet for Dak Prescott. He has to be able to be a guy that isn't just a go-ball merchant. You got to block. You got to have the details in every single route you run. That's the only way to truly take the pressure off of CeeDee Lamb, and I think he will do it against the New York Giants.
Okay, I want to get more deeply into that with Orlovsky has a tape of it because there was some concern about what we did and didn't see from George Pickens in Week 1. What did you see?
Not enough effort and not enough commitment to the team. For me, it's do you want to be a part of this team and of the time?
Burning.
That's not enough. That's not enough, dude. You got to be all in. I need to watch that tape and know that you're fully committed to every single snap and you want to be a part of the team. Because we can't, as the head coach, say, I'm all in on him. And
Him not giving a whole lot of effort on plays when you know he's not getting the ball.
Yes.
This is not a situation where, Schottenheimer's going to go and he's going to fix it with a conversation behind closed doors, because I guarantee Mike Tomlin has done the same thing. This is a Dak Prescott-led, player-led team that needs to pull him into a room and say, just like you're saying, are you in or are you out? That's what you have to figure out.
Let me hit on that real quick, because Taylor's point is the one. There's speed changes on tape. Like there's examples in that game when he bursts off the ball and he's running full speed, and you're like, okay, that's what it should look like, because I think he's thinking this is a pass concept, I might get the ball. And then there's times when it's not there. And I just believe that that's not how you can play that position in the NFL on a consistent basis.
Well, just one more thing. Schottenheimer, he preached in his press conferences about marrying the run to the pass. If you want to establish a good run game, you need your perimeter players to be able to block. That's how you extend those plays from getting 4 yards to now you're getting the explosive 15 to 20 yards. Without George Pickens being
17 weeks. He's looking at $25 to $30 million a year.
Easily.
A year, easily. How hard is this? It's not hard to figure out. Again, we come back to what we talked about on this show at this time last week. In Pittsburgh, he was viewed as the most talented guy in the league, the most talented receiver, but somebody that they could not always count on for various reasons. Be that guy for 1 year where your team can count on you, where you're giving maximum effort in the run game, where you're running full speed at all times. I mean, again, I haven't played the game, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But
you have no clue what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about.
You have no idea.
To give full effort.
In football, you do not have to give effort. That is clear.
Okay. I think it's important to point this out, because this is stuff that, candidly, I hadn't noticed watching that game on that Thursday night, and now you go back and you watch it again, and you see you're not getting that from him. On the other side, Shefty, the Giant fans, I hear from them every single day, just walking the street. They want the quarterback changed. They want Jackson Dart in there. What can you tell us? The Giants continue to insist that they have a plan, and both the head coach, Brian Daboll, and the general manager, Joe Shane, were in Buffalo when they had Nathan Peterman start out. They drafted Josh Allen, and the plan was to wait as long as they could before they turned to Josh Allen. That plan, and they waited all of one half of Week 1. After this first loss, Brian Daboll did not initially commit to Russell Wilson. So now we have a situation where for every game they lose, for every time Russell Wilson throws an incomplete pass, these questions are going to come up. The fans want Jackson Dart. They're going to get him at some point. We don't know whether it's going to be at halftime of this game or after Week 2, but at some point, when there's another loss or two and Russell's struggling, Jackson Dart is coming.
If it looks the same way at halftime, they'll have no choice. Jackson Dart will be coming out as the starting quarterback. They'll have no choice. Now, I don't like it because I don't want to put him behind that offensive line.
Yes.
But Does the quarterback's athleticism mask some of the offensive line issues? Can you do some more stuff with him to help the offensive line? But if it looks the same way, he'll be coming out in the second half.
All right, I have to leave it there for the moment. We're up against the bottom of an hour. We'll talk much more about this as we go because the fans want to see the quarterback change. And it is time for AI-generated fantasy insights provided by IBM. We look at the projected game breakers for tonight, specifically which players have a chance of outperforming their scoring projection. Jaden Daniels is projected over 20 points, has a high chance of outperforming that. Meanwhile, the Packers have a few receivers, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, that could be in line for breakout games. If you're playing fantasy, now you know. Coming up, one of the all-time great players says this all-time great team has lost the thing that...
Completely agree. I think the Packers are further along right now than the Washington Commanders when I looked at the film, both offensively and defensively.
Fair enough. The Commanders went further along in the playoffs last year, quite literally, to everyone's surprise, and they've got the quarterback back. There's one more thing I want from Shefty this morning. The story that I have said, Shefty, all offseason long was the most fascinating to me was Travis Hunter and his quest to become the first true both-ways player in the NFL that we've seen in generations. Last week we saw what he did. He played mostly on offense, a little tiny bit on defense. They're going up against Cincinnati this week with those great receivers. What do we know of the plan for Travis Hunter?
Liam Cohen, the Jaguars head coach, said yesterday that Hunter's going to play more defense this week, and that's really part of the Jaguars' plan all along. Last week, as you mentioned, full-time receiver, situational defensive back. In this particular game, when you go up against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and the wideouts in Cincinnati, you want all the defensive reinforcements you can get. So they're going to use him more this week on the defensive side of the football, and this is going to be a week-to-week decision for the Jaguars in how to deploy Travis Hunter. There'll be weeks where they play the Bengals where they're going to want to use him more at defensive back. There'll be weeks where they want to play him at wide receiver. Now, Liam Cohen loves his receivers, so you always slant towards receiver, but Travis Hunter is going to get plenty of use on both sides of the football.
So this fascinates me because Rex Ryan was here on Monday, as he always is, and expressed a concern that if you try this hard to get both from a player, you're going to wind up getting neither. You're going to wind up getting sort of average play on both sides. And you, I thought, made a really good point in our meeting this morning. You might just say, oh, go out there and play defense this week. But there's a lot more than just run out onto the field and cover a receiver.
Yeah, it's what do you want Travis Hunter to be? Do you want him to be an explosive player for you on offense, or do you want him to be a lockdown corner on defense? I'm not concerned with his capacity to do it. I think he could play at a very high level on both sides of the ball. I'm more concerned about what responsibility comes with it. Because defensively, if you're juggling both jobs, defensively, it's like, do you dumb it down? Do you keep it simple so that way he can shadow your best receiver all game or their best receiver all game? But with that, it's like, if you're going to be complex, defensive packages, blitzes, whenever they motion empty, whenever you get motion, double calls on defense, you're going to expect him to retain a lot of information. He needs a good rapport with the secondary to do so in all these situations. And then what do you want him to do? Go on offense and then be the best player on offense? Do you want him to shadow the best receiver on defense and then go be the best receiver on offense?
The little bit that you saw of him on offense last week, you liked it a lot.
I like that the kid's got juice, he's got wiggle when he gets around the middle and he's taking a little spin move and going to the ground and he gets a first down and acts like he just won the Super Bowl. That's the kind of juice that fires me up. When he's on the sideline, he's cheering on his teammates. That's the kind of energy you need in Duval. However, I'm with Will. When it comes to the defense and you're having all the things of all the checks and motions, all that stuff, on the opposite side of the ball, it's the same exact thing. You have 1,000 calls, you're getting motions and all that stuff. So how are you able to learn both playbooks week in and week out and game plan?
Does he need, at the end of the day, for my guys over here, does he need to pick a side at some point, or can he really, is this both thing really an option?
I think it's an option. I feel like it's an option later in his career. Don't mess up the for sure for some more. And that feels like what the Jaguars are doing right now, because it does take a certain amount of reps to get really good at defense. It takes a certain amount of reps to get really good at offense. Talent is one thing. What you're born with, what you walk out of the hospital with is one thing. To be good in the NFL, it takes you seeing something a million times in meetings, in film, on the field, in practice. And if he's splitting it, it's going to take longer to get to that quote-unquote critical mass point.
Play him on offense because he's going to help your quarterback play better. And then on defense, listen, he's 3rd and 7. Go cover that guy.
If those things are an option, then maybe that's the way to do it, one way or another. I think that is a legitimate fear. I would love to see this thing work. But if you're trying to do too much, then maybe you wind up getting almost nothing.
Cover 2.
As we continue, has the league caught up to Kansas City? You're going to hear an NFL legend say that Patrick Mahomes has lost the one thing that made his team great. Don't miss it. It's fascinating. Plus, we're just 1 week in, but do the Cowboys already have a problem with their new star receiver? You'll see it as we continue next. Just getting revved up. It's Get Up on ESPN.
Barbara's